Stop it.
It's too late. Are you okay? You want me to introduce it?
Go.
Okay. Hey guys, it's Gavin. Give you just a couple minutes while we get sorted on this end, because we're actually doing live streams from a couple of different pages this afternoon. We've got Ammon live on the phone. He has some important stuff he wants to share with you guys. I've got Kelly here, and she's streaming on another page so we can get as much reach. So like this, share this, get it out, let people know, get Ammon's voice out there. They're still abusing him in the jails, and he has some important stuff. Ammon, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Gavin.
Excellent. Kelly, are you live on your end?
I'm actually not yet, but just go ahead and go.
I'll let you guys. I'll give people just a second because we're approaching 100. Guys, let's get this shared everywhere. Ammon is here and he's about to go live. And Kelly, that gives you just a second to get live on your end.
Okay.
And just let me know when you're going. And Ammon is still locked away in the solitary. And let me also shout out to you guys. I'm going to shout out before we're finished here. I'm going to give you a couple of places you can go to support the Bundys and their families and things like that. So we're going to get that done as soon as Ammon is going. Ammon, I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to you, and so you can let people know what's on your mind. And everybody's logging in, and they'll be sharing this for you and getting it out there. You good, Kelly?
All right, good. I'm good, Gavin. Go ahead, Ammon.
Ammon, go ahead.
Yeah, I would just like to talk to those listening about what is really happening to us in here and why this case is so important to all of us, including you, and who the enemy of freedom really is. And both here at the ranch and in Oregon, we were spreading a message, a principled message that ultimately would destroy the craft of those usurping power. This message caught on like wildfire, and those in power referred to it as a spreading virus that had to be stopped. They were unable to intellectually challenge the message, and so they chose to use force. Instead of giving the people a choice, they raised the barrel of a gun. And as many of you know, on the way to a community meeting, we were ambushed on the side of the highway. Agents opened fire into our vehicle, wounding my brother Ryan and killing LaVoy Finicum, our dear friend, an Arizona rancher, one of the truest men this country has ever known. We were armed with laptops, overhead projectors, and a PA system. And we were looking forward to another great meeting with several hundred people who had invited us to Grand County.
This call is from an inmate facility.
The FBI tried to cover up their participation in shooting into the vehicle by hiding the shell casings they shot. And still to this day, no justice has been served in this matter. But we have been held in federal prison now for 458 days, waiting for trial. Our message had to be stopped, they said, and to do that, they would use prison to isolate us. For many millenniums, truth has been suppressed by isolating those who are speaking it. Once isolated, the message and the messenger can be demonized without challenge. Once demonized, those in power can destroy without the people uprising. Isolate, demonize, and destroy. Political warfare. Skilled, intentional political warfare. Please understand that it is becoming progressively more and more difficult for me to get my message out to you, or for us to get our message out to you. Just by talking to you now, I'm taking a risk. I am even restricted in communicating with my little family. However, you, through modern technology, are the reason that they have not been able to fully isolate us or demonize us. All of you out there so actively in spreading the message are reviving the principles in which this country was founded upon, the principles of freedom. And at the same time, you're preventing them from destroying us. So I thank you for this. I thank you for myself, and I thank you for my children and for my grandchildren. Now about this case, this horrible court case. This case will set a powerful precedent in the court. The outcome of this case will determine whether or not the American people have a legal right to self-preservation and self-defense against agents of their own government. Do you have a right to self-preservation and self-defense against those in government? Do you? Can you always rely on the government to do the right thing? What does history tell you? If we lose this case, you along with us will not be legally allowed to resist anybody in government in any way if they come to take your property. We will not even be able to protest against them without risk of being jailed and prosecuted. Our own government people are attempting to put any resistance at rest so they can do whatever they please without trouble from the people. If this case goes the way of the federal government, we will overturn almost 250 years of founding principle and will exhaust the remaining strength out of the First and the Second Amendment. All of you First Amendment activists, you Second Amendment advocates, you oath keepers, you statesmen, you 10th Amendment defenders, you military members, you militia members, you veterans, you fathers, you mothers, you clergymen, all of you that ever may stand in self-defense or self-preservation will do so with Ammon Bundy et al. Versus the United States government as the presiding case, the standard. If we win, it will remain legal to defend yourself, your livelihoods, your property, and your beliefs against agents of the federal government. If we lose, you will not legally have the right to stop government employees from taking your property, your livelihoods, your free exercise of conscience, or even your life. Much weighs on this case, more so than most in this country understand. But the government understands this. It does not matter if you are Buddhist, Muslim, Mormon, Catholic, Protestant, or any other religion, or no religion at all. It does not matter if you are independent, Democrat, Lutheran, or Republican, or no party at all. You should not trust any government who is seeking to make self-preservation and self-defense illegal. This case, including our long-term mistreatment here in prison, is designed to chill the American people into not standing up to government employees when they come to take what is not theirs to take. If you knew it would be illegal to stand against government officials, and if you knew it was right to do so, would you? When you think of our long-term mistreatment in these prisons, does that encourage you not to stand? Any government who sets out to put fear in the people they should be serving cannot be trusted. There is an enemy. They are real. They can't be identified. We can fight them, and we can win. I've heard it said that the first line of defense is communication, and the second is understanding who your enemy is. How can anyone prevail in battle if they cannot or will not identify the enemy? How can they even know how to act?
This call is from an inmate facility.
So if you will bear with me for a little longer, and if you will not reject my words, I will tell you who the enemy of freedom is, who the robbers of liberty are. However, I must warn you that it may not sit well with many of you. The enemy of liberty is the government employee, the government official, the bureaucrats, those that work for the government. Not the elected representatives per se, but government agents, the employees of government agencies. Chances are some of you willfully listening right now are an enemy to freedom. But Ammon, you say, not us. We love freedom. Yes, but you and those you're working with are destroying it. But we are good people, and we love this country. Yes, but you are hurting all those who live in it. But Ammon, we help people. Yes, but at a cost that is too great. But I worked hard for my paycheck. Yes, but every paycheck you receive, it took 3 private paychecks to pay for it. Well, you're being radical, Ammon, you might say. You're not making sense. We have to have order. Someone has to be in control. People cannot do it on their own. Someone has to protect you to keep you safe. We have to keep things organized. See, there you go again, destroying freedom. I wish there was an easy way to say it. I wish. I wish none of my friends were working against liberty. The truth is truth, fact is fact, and we get nowhere denying reality. To be nice, I could pretend that their employment does not damage freedom. But then would I be an enemy too? The more bureaucrats, government employees there are, the more regulations are imposed upon the people. The more bureaucrats, government officials there are, the greater the burden is on the private citizen, the producer. An honest man is one who knows that he cannot consume more than he produces. The good businessman knows that he cannot employ more than he sells. And a wise administrator knows that too many restrictions inhibits production. But Ammon, you say, what would you have me do? Just quit my job? No. If you quit now, chances are someone worse will just take your spot. Stay where you are. Try to relieve the private citizens that you regulate. Relieve them the best you can. Prepare yourself to enter the private sector so you can start producing. Maybe even start a business of your own. But whatever you do, do not forget, never forget, that as a bureaucrat, you are an enemy to freedom, a robber of liberty. You restrict and regulate. You do not produce. You take, you do not give. I do not speak these things to revile you, or out of spite or bitterness in any way. I speak only of your burdens upon the people as a fact. It may be some consolation to you to know that it appears to me that the higher one is on the bureaucratic hierarchy, the greater the enemy of freedom they are. And not all agencies are equal in destruction. I believe it was George Washington that compared government to a fire. When small and in control, it is a useful servant. But when large and out of control, it is a terrible master. Something to that effect. A very small government is a necessary evil. Beyond that, government is a destroyer of happiness. Let me double line and sum things up. This case, Ammon Bundy et al. Versus the United States government, will change this country. It will either strengthen the right of the people to defend themselves in preservation of life, or it will allow government officials to plunder the people without restraint. The enemy of our freedom is government employees. No one else is robbing us of our liberty. It is them only. They are receiving pay to restrict you in using and enjoying your inherent rights. There is much that must be done, much that can be done, and all of you listening are needed, including and maybe even especially those bureaucrats who love freedom more than they love gain and power. I wish to talk to you more in detail about things that must be done, actions that we can take to make us more free. But I will have to do it at a later time. Maybe a few days or a week or so. But I thank you. Thank you for all you do, all your concerns, your prayers, and your support. And I hope you will consider my words. I have to go now.
Thank you, Ammon. Okay, guys, that was good. I'm sorry if the audio was a little quiet. Crank those speakers up. And this will be available to review. Kelly, are you still there? You have it running on another page, I believe, as well?
Yeah, I do. I've got it on Rick's page.
Okay.
The audio wasn't very great on it, but I was doing the best I can with what I have.
Yeah, this is kind of short notice, guys. So next time we do this, we're going to try and get a little more organized, and I can hook Ammon up to a speaker. I could have done that, but it would have interrupted his message. So we'll get some louder speakers or something going next time, so it's a little easier to hear. But it sounds like most of you got the message still, and I hope they're sharing the message and spreading the message. Look, I mean, I don't have much to add to this. Ammon's words are powerful. And it calls us out as a nation. We have to start stepping up. We have to start realizing what the problem is, especially those of us who are involved in the bureaucracy. And we have to humble ourselves. We have to be willing to stand up and say, you know, tyranny's not okay. We have to be willing to stand up to the police officer and say, no, it's not okay that you're violating people's due process, to the judge, and even to the low-level bureaucrat. And if we're in those kind of positions, like Ammon said, we've got to start using that position to do good instead of to do tyranny. Kelly, anything to add before we wrap this?
No, that's it. Just keep praying for these guys. Their spirits are tired, and they need to know that people are standing with them.
Well, and I just want people to understand, guys, I mean, the level of abuse. These guys are in tiny little cells. They've been in solitary for like a month. They barely have communication. They don't even really have commissary, do they, Kelly? So really they get hardly any food.
They can't. They can't use no commissary. They're not allowed any commissary. Just them, just Ammon and Ryan. Other prisoners in solitary do still get commissary, but they are restricting Ammon and Ryan. They're
intentionally targeting them. They're preventing them from being comfortable even in the slightest. I mean, look, what they're doing is torture. This is not due process. It's a concentration camp, and we need to be very clear on that. They're doing strip searches and they're molesting them in inappropriate ways, you know, in terms of body cavity searches and all kinds of disgusting things. And this has become the normal in our system. And people say, well, if you didn't want to have that, you shouldn't have gone to jail. Guys, going to jail has nothing to do with whether you're a criminal anymore. We have to recognize that. If we can't see that from this, then we can't see it at all, right? So assume if someone's in jail that they're there illegally, because they're all being denied their due process, even if they've done something wrong. And Ammon and Ryan have not. So keep their names on your lips. Keep that message spreading. And to top it off, this last trial, guys, it looks like this verdict was actually falsified in the last trial in the courtroom. And we're not going to go into that right now because we've already been going on for a while, but we'll do, Kelly or I or somebody will do another updates. We'll get that out and we'll go into more detail. You've probably seen some of the documents floating around, but from what it's looking like, Judge Navarro in Nevada actually did manipulate the verdict that came down this last week in Nevada. Completely out of control, complete despotism, and it's our job to shame that and to call it out. Okay, Kelly, I keep talking. Anything else you want to add before we close?
No, just keep these guys in your prayers. That's all.
You want to say a prayer, Kelly?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and pray. Heavenly Father, I just pray for your hand of protection to be on every one of the political prisoners and their families that are suffering right now. And Lord, we just ask that your will be done. Mobilize the troops. Help us to understand what our role in this fight for liberty and freedom is, that would not just further your kingdom, but also further the protections of your people, and that we continue to bring honor and glory to you in the way that we fight this good fight. We just pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All right, guys, spread the message, get this out, share it everywhere, and let's keep the voice alive. Talk soon.
Message, and so they chose to use force. Instead of giving the people a choice, they raised the barrel of a gun. And as many of you know, on the way to a community meeting, we were ambushed on the side of the highway. Agents opened fire into our vehicle, wounding my brother Ryan and killing LaVoy Finicum, our dear friend, an Arizona rancher, one of the truest men this country has ever known. We were armed with laptops, overhead projectors, and a PA system. And we were looking forward to another great meeting with several hundred people who had invited us to Grant County.
This call is from an inmate facility.
The FBI tried to cover up.
Just a second, because we're approaching 100. Guys, let's get this shared everywhere. Ammon is here, and he's about to go live. And Kelly, that gives you just a second to get live on your end. And just let me know when you're going. And Ammon is still locked away in the solitary. And let me also shout out to you guys. I'm going to shout out before we're finished here. I'm going to give you a couple of places you can go to support the Bundys and their families and things like that. So we're going to get that done as soon as Ammon is going. Ammon, I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to you, and so you can let people know what's on your mind. And everybody's logging in, and they'll be sharing this for you and getting it out there. You good, Kelly?
All right, good. I'm good, Gavin. Go ahead, Ammon.
Ammon, go ahead.
Stop it.
It's too late. Are you okay? You want me to introduce it?
Go.
Okay. Hey guys, it's Gavin. I'll give you just a couple minutes while we get sorted on this end, because we're actually doing live streams from a couple of different pages this afternoon. We've got Ammon live on the phone. He has some important stuff he wants to share with you guys. I've got Kelly here, and she's streaming on another page so we can get as much reach. So like this, share this, get it out, let people know, get Ammon's voice out there. They're still abusing him in the jails, and he has some important stuff. Ammon, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Gavin.
Excellent. Kelly, are you live on your end?
I'm actually not yet, but just go ahead and go.
We'll I'll let you guys. I'll give people.
Cover up their participation in shooting into the vehicle by hiding the shell casings they shot. And still to this day, no justice has been served in this matter. But we have been held in federal prison now for 458 days, waiting for trial. Our methods had to be stopped, they said. And to do that, they would use prison to isolate us. For many millenniums, truth has been suppressed by isolating those who are speaking it. Once isolated, the message and the messenger can be demonized without challenge. Once demonized, those in power. Yeah, I would just like to talk to those listening about what is really happening to us in here and why this case is so important to all of us, including you, and who the enemy of freedom really is. And both here at the ranch and in Oregon, we were spreading a message, a principled message that ultimately would destroy the craft of those usurping power. This message caught on like wildfire, and those in power referred to it as a spreading virus that had to be stopped. They were unable to intellectually challenge the